time, Mr. Blipster.
Revenue GS.
J1 further the Saga
And it's that time of the week where you get slapped up with more Star Wars. Today we have Andor Episode 8 discussion. And by all means, slap up that subscribe button. Road to 2,000 subscribers. 200,000 subscribers. What are you, man, saying? On this new leaf, as you like to put it, they come in trios. Hey, what's good, fam? If you enjoyed this video, check out our TCN community where you will get private Discord access to join us in chatting about all things movies and trailers, participating in our debates, and even submit your requests on which ones we watch. You also get access to our full movies, animes, and series reactions, so don't miss out. The link to join the community will be pinned comment.
Unfortunately, not new life. The episode is a bit of a strange one. I say it starts off really, really strong, introduces us into some new characters at the prison, recurring characters I'm like to see involved, especially, what's his name?
So? Nah, the dude that's trying to get Andor.
Luthen. Luthen.
I liked that he's been trying to claw his way into the upper, like to try and basically get Andor, like he's up and coming, so he's trying to get any way how. I like that they've been investigating him to see what kind of information he has, and I feel like those characters, I like the way they butt heads, and the show really does have its strengths when it has conflicts with characters, even though they have the same kind of interests. They showed that with those two officers, they showed that with
Saw Gerrera and what's that guy?
Sorry, I got the names wrong. The guy you're talking about now is Luthen,
right,
not
yeah.
the guy that was at the desk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Saw Gerrera and Luthen.
Yeah.
Who's the other officer?
I can't remember his name.
That's
For
his
him.
name. Yeah. The guy that's been.
Who likes to change his attire.
That's it.
You know.
Yeah.
He's got swag like that.
Yeah. Like he's always trying to just basically what's doing right, even if it's by force. Like I like his mentality and stuff. So it was good to see that they were just biting heads, and because even though we know that he's gonna get there eventually, it's kind of interesting that even though these two do meet, it's not like, oh, we're trying to work together. She's still like.
Yeah, because she's
still against him, which is kind of weird because
I feel like she's kind of like small boy in him kind of thing. Because you know, like he comes from the background of like security team. Yeah. Remember, they were like a security company that got hired to run this sector. Until they lost the contract.
That's why I find kind of weird how, I guess that's just the whole theme in general for where she's from is that they just want to do stuff by a certain way, but the way she came up isn't it the way that now she's been treated, man, as well. So I thought that was kind of strange rather than help, man. But
I don't think that's strange, man, because it's like they're not on the same level, bro. Like the thing she's asking man for information. The only thing he can add is the coat is grey and green. Like the levels, like why is she gonna work with man? Do you know what I'm saying? She came, extracted the information she needed, and she bust case. What is gonna keep him in it is his perseverance, his obsession with the whole thing. Do you get what I'm saying? So if he keeps obsessing it on a way where he's still going to her, then obviously at some point they're going to work together. But I would like him to splinter off on his own. Like having Saw Gerrera in this episode makes me feel like, it'd be good to have factions of people who are trying to do the right thing for the Empire, but also aren't part of the ordered establishment because of the way they work. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, the Empire ain't making it easy, even in their own ranks, for people to come up. So, if he keeps getting dusted to the side and he's like, bruv, maybe I've got to do this myself, I feel like that would be good as well, especially, bruv, because I think everything else is holding him back. The whole, every organisation he's gone to is holding him back. The organisation that should be helping him is holding him back. Bruv, I would like him to take it as a personal vendetta and be like, nah, bruv, I'm going after Andor on my own or something like that. But then obviously they make him such a cowardly character at points that he might not ever do that. So his character, like, I like him, but he's weird to me because it's like your energy's there, but then when you get around certain people, it's not there. It's weird, man. So like, I don't like that. I thought the episode as a whole was kind of janky.
Sorry, let me just jump on that thing with that character, because remember I was saying before, I can't wait for these two to meet. And like today, I was like, yes, they're finally here. But then the way they came across, obviously she gave him the brief to read. He read, didn't give her much information. So now it put me in that situation, much like you were saying. It's like, they didn't come together the way I wanted, but they're together now. And his perseverance, the way he's going to go on about is like, oh, he's he then gonna become the other side of her? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because obviously him still being in the little office thing, and you can see him like he's still got that frustration coming through, and he's just spitting it out to her. And because she doesn't really see the value yet, like I want to see where them two gonna go to come back again, and if they're gonna be on the same team, or if someone else sees the potential in him because he keeps on reporting the stuff. Because she said next time you're not gonna be reporting to me. So what
he's
if
being bait? She's messing up the thing.
Right.
He needs to shut up.
So what if now the black guy that got his job taken for her might recruit men? Do you know what I'm saying? Because he's now being taken off the board. So these are the kind of things that piqued my interest when these two came together.
And then other than that, I would just say like the episode as a whole was janky. Like it started off with a super legit intensity to it for like maybe the first act. The middle section was like when we started getting into the Mon Mothma stuff, just bruv. And it's not even the politics. It's just she's not interesting, bruv. Whatever's going on over there, it's either not developing fast enough or it just you haven't explained the stakes of it. Like no one
Man's lost
get me. And then the Andor situation, as soon as we got past the shock value of where Andor was at, that whole situation kind of fell flat as well. They was trying to keep up the intensity of it, but it just wasn't feeling it. And then I feel like in the end, they tried to throw Sol Guerrera in there and a nice little conversation and think that you could, you know what I'm saying, harness the energy that you had at the beginning of the episode. So, like I would say, decent episode, but it was all over the place for me. Like it was a bit, it was mad.
To go back, because obviously you asked at the end of the episode why show that. All right, so my whole thing with it is that with Andor is he's a solo guy. He's a lone wolf, yeah? Mm-hmm. So what they've tried to do with him in prison, like the reason why I feel like they've put him in prison is to be like, look, this is the transformation of Andor. He's going from a solo wolf, to a team guy. Because remember, they got to work together. Mm-hmm. So now they're installing him discipline, cooperation, all of these things that he didn't have, even that with people that helped him. Like, if you go back to all the other episodes, even going back to town, bruv, everybody was done with man because everything he does, it does of sole interest. Mm-hmm. Now, he's been put in this position where he has no other choice. And this is where he's going to go from solo to team player. Mm-hmm. This is what I felt like they was trying to do with him.
In those 5 seconds, is that what you got?
No. Throughout the whole episode. And then, obviously, that last shot is to show you, look, guys.
Yeah, well, he's been forced to.
Here's the new guy.
But he's been forced to, though. Like, I need to go watch Rogue One again because obviously this is evolution of Andor. But every time I get this guy on screen, bro, I actually don't care about him in his own show.
Mm. With his stuff, this is not his own show, bro. They just used man's name as a catalyst to get to tell to grab all these things that created Rogue One kind of thing.
But like for me, he's just on screen. He says the least. He gets bullied around. He's always saying that I'm just here for whatever reason or I don't know or whatever. Like for story reasons, they like you said using them as their vehicles and stuff. But he actually, for me, has no personality. I don't know why I'm here. Man, Andy Serkis is pulling man on the instead of fighting back, bro. He does absolutely nothing. And like even like you're saying, they're building him to be like a team player or whatever. Like from obviously they showed that within the time skip of was it 3 months or was it?
3. Well, they said 30. So basically 30 days.
Yeah, something like that. I was like, I'm not getting a lot from Andor as well, and that's what I'm saying. Like it really does show when they have very interesting and developed characters on screen compared to when they don't. Because someone like Lucian, when he's by himself, he's like okay, but when I'm hearing with Sol Guerrero, that conversation bouncing back and forth, legit. Same thing with other characters when they just again with that. What's that lady?
Which one?
The posh one, the posh thing.
Mon Mothma.
Again, switch off. Like what's going on over there? When these characters are just elsewhere, I'm like, can we move on to the next? And when we don't, I'm just like,
yeah, I hear you on that. Especially with Andor, like he doesn't thrive unless he's in thriving situations almost. Like unless you put him in something where he can do something, he's quite bland to watch. Like, and I know he's in prison and he's just got to follow orders and all of that, bro. But I don't think he should be fighting back against Andy Serkis. But I think that when they was interrogating man about what was going on outside, like even with him not having information, there could have been more of a conversation.
Yeah.
Like what are you man talking? Like why is he not trying to get information from them about something that he knows he started? Like he's aware of what they did has had an impact. He's aware that is why he should have had a 6-month bid and now he's got 6 years, and he knows that the repercussions of what he did has doubled everyone's sentence in that place, bro. So when they're like, yo, what's going on with this order? Blah, 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 he should be asking them more questions like, oh, what's been happening? You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not part of the Rebel Alliance or you're not trying to get deep into it, that's just normal questions you'd be asking in that situation, bro. So,
like, he's always just trying to shut stuff, like, down, like, any kind of things. Every time they ask him questions, I don't know.
Just playing it
Yeah,
down kind of thing.
And it just makes him very uninteresting because it's then, like, it just shows, like, again, even though it is self-interest, you're now in a situation that almost you're the catalyst of, but then you're just gonna just sit through it now.
See,
6 years.
I think it's one of those ones where next episode he's gonna be very interesting, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? He's gonna have bare stuff to do, and bruv, that's what the DNA of the show's been. Like you keep saying, so let's, you know what I'm saying? I told you we got to take this thing as 3-episode story arc movie types. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Do you man reckon they're gonna do like a prison break kind of thing?
he has to escape.
Yeah, they're gonna have to, innit?
He's got a 6-year bid. He's got no other choice.
And I hope so, because all other characters about him, bro.
Because like even the way he just comes into prison and he just keeps peeping everything, and it looks like these lot, even with the guy being late, clearly like they're a bit more relaxed because, and look, we don't come and see these guys unless it's to remove a body or to introduce someone. So they seem like a bit more relaxed, especially where they don't need to use weapons or anything like that. So he might be peeping onto that and starting to start scheming.
Yeah, and this is what the most interesting thing is as well, because obviously, like Jay said, in episode 3, it might be like, oh, these guys are unorganized, he does this, he comes out, he's late, but it's like, why does it have to be on the third arc? The man has to show
All
his
of these
kind of,
things.
His ideas and stuff.
rather than always peppering every single conversation he's in, rather than I don't know.
Right.
Because then you always keep in his mind that Andor is always thinking about something.
That's fire because they do that for the other character, the Imperial lady. When she's like, when they've got my man in the seat, she's like, nah, I want her to see him. And then when she walks, in, she's like, oh, what are you doing? Get him out of here.
Yeah,
like,
playing the
that
thing,
shows how cerebral she is as a character. And I see what you're saying. They don't do that with, well, they did this with the camera work for Andor, but they don't do it for Andor himself. He's never usually walking into a room and identifying, oh, the exit's here, there's this many people. If I need to get out, I've got to do this. And maybe they feel like, because he's a loner, it's hard to get that exposition off without him talking to someone. But at the same time, in this episode, they did it easily with camera work and without saying anything. So if that was peppered in more around him, he may be less interesting. But then I might just put that down to the director and the person who directed this episode having a bit like of knowing they've got to do more with less dialogue. Do you know what I'm saying? And instead of building that into the character as a whole, do you get what I'm saying? So it's mad, but yeah, man.
No, they definitely need to do a better job with Andor, because everything they showed with him was just eyes. Andy Serkis talking to him, you clearly just see him looking around kind of thing, and that's it, and that's all you get from it. So if you miss those little things, then you're completely lost with him. What are you man scoring for this episode?
I do want to say Andy Serkis went stupid hard in this episode as well. It's good to see, man. It's good to see Sol Guerrero as well, but I felt like they had Sol Guerrero on they had him turned down a little bit, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? He was on like a 4-5 on terms of the energy that he's usually on compared to the 7-8. Do you know what I'm saying? Even though he was just having a dialogue scene, it's like I still expected a bit more. Like there was a couple lines in there where man was getting shelled down, and I was like. But yeah, but Serkis went stupid hard, like. Yeah. I'm giving this episode probably a 3, man. Like, it's calm. It wasn't bad. In the middle of the 2 episodes, you know what I'm saying? Knowing what's gonna come next is probably gonna make this episode better. So, and it weren't terrible. You get me? The editing could have been a bit better in terms of the placement of that last scene and just the overall placement. Because I feel like they could have handled some of that Andor stuff like all at once.
Yeah.
Like it felt like they could have done that, like all at once here and then moved on. But it was like we was in bare different places, and then towards the third act, they threw in all the stuff with his mum happening. When it was like we could have put this, like it just felt weird. Like the flow was mad. The flow was weird, innit? it? So
there's one bit where, you know, the girl that got arrested, it was onto her. They zoomed onto her, and then cut to Luthen's spaceship.
Yeah,
and I was just like, that was such a weird cut, man.
Yeah. I got a 3.
3, you?
Yeah, I'll say a 3 as well. It is like, yeah, it's just a very janky episode because like there's some tough bits in there. I just don't feel like the flow doesn't help the show at all. And if it is, let's say, less interesting bits, then because I guess if you put it at the beginning, someone's gonna just turn it off, aren't they?
I guess so. But
it's weird. And then, like I said, there was parts where they were talking to posh people, and there was like 3 scenes. I'm like, why are we here? And it's so weird because some of these scenes, it seems like right now they're not very important. And I hope the payoff is good for these scenes later on because
yeah, but the problem with that is because they're forgettable, you might not be able to connect all the important parts. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's politics, and this is the problem with Montfort. Like, it's just not caring enough because clearly, like, she's a big cog in this thing. She is, like, now, and we've seen it with the other movies, but these cogs are not lining up. Do you know what I'm saying? Even the stuff with Luthen, like, they clearly have 2 different ways of going about things. But then she's over here talking about, oh, I got to collect votes. Okay, make that interesting. Why you need to collect the votes? What votes for what? Obviously, and she said, yo, I just spent 400,000, like, or was it million or something?
No, she like moved it or something.
Yeah, like, and she just pretty much seemed like she just lost the peas. And obviously, Saul Guerrero is out in the code. So you see how these things, they're there, but they're not, I don't think they're connecting them properly. They're not making it digestible. To me, I was on a 2.5. Do you know what I'm saying? Simply because these are the things that, like, it's just taking man out of this episode. But then there's the tough stuff, the tough stuff that, like, I've been asking for, and we're getting it. And then even seeing the stuff that comes off Andor's mission, like, everybody gets a double bid. Like, even this prison, it's sick. Everybody's competing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's the whole world is a bit bigger now. But I feel like the editing and the way they're moving kind of felt for man.
There was mad. I do want to give them mad props for the prison. Like, the prison feels like a Black Mirror game. That's what I thought was super legit, bro. Like, even the fact that they explained to us what's going on in all the other rooms. What we didn't see all the other rooms. We just saw them when they were standing in the corridor. How many people actually in there? I thought they got that energy of that thing very right. Like, it felt like when we was in the prison, we was almost in a different place. Like, it felt like a different show altogether. So I thought that was sick how they captured that.
That bit when the guy was communicating with the other dude, like, bro, like, I was like, how long have you guys been in there to be able to formulate? It's almost like, you know, like in prison, there's gang signs.
Their man must have had. They man knew they were signing before they went in for sure. That's got to be his brother or something.
Damn, bro, it's mad, bro. But that's what they do in prison, isn't it? Like, gangs, like in LA.
I don't know.
I've seen. Oh, you never seen those documentaries?
No.
Like, yeah, when they just put their hands, so they got like a mirror.
Yeah.
And then
outside of their cell,
and they be communicating like that. Like, so, but yeah, look, it's a 3 out of 5 on today's episode. Do jump on the comment section below and let us know your thoughts, as always, as usual. And then remember, you can always go to patreon.com/thecybernerds to watch Andor with us. Until then, I'm Raven your GS.
So I'm Mr. Blister.
J-Well further the Cybernerds.
Peace.